For Scott Williams, I'm Doug Sherman. Thanks for watching. So long from Coral Gables. We send you now to Oxford, Mississippi for Ole Miss and Auburn. And welcome to Super Tuesday, presented by Progressive Insurance. Dave Neal, Dane Bradshaw, glad you could join us from the pavilion here in Oxford, Mississippi. The Rebels and the Tigers, Ole Miss won 3 straight games. Auburn has won 2 of their last 3. The Tigers, though, on a 7-0 run to take a 9-5 advantage over Ole Miss.
Yeah, Ole Miss got a couple of good looks early, but Auburn has responded. I've never seen an 8-0 start in the rebound advantage, but that's exactly what Auburn's done, making them one and done. And Ole Miss is a team that is playing as confident as anybody in the SEC after a monster week with 2 huge road wins. Meanwhile, Auburn looking for their first true road victory here in this one.
So Auburn leading Ole Miss 9-5, 16-10 to go here in the first half. The 151st meeting between Auburn and Ole Miss. Good crowd on hand. Student section filled up 90 minutes before tip-off tonight. Kind of feel like there's some momentum with this Ole Miss team. Winners of 3 consecutive games. They knocked off Mizzou by 7, and they beat Georgia in overtime, and Mississippi State at the buzzer as well. Commodore Klafke, the freshman Pinkins, Dia, and Scott, the starting 5 for the Rebels. Travis Perry just checks in, the sharpshooter from Kentucky.
As does Storr, who has been on an absolute tear scoring off the bench.
First shot looks perfect. A.J. Storr on a roll. His overall average up over 13 now.
Contested mid-range shots. As a defense, that's what you want them to take. The problem, Ole Miss has been making a lot of those tough twos lately.
Elijah Freeman dumps it down to Murphy. Pettiford from the corner for 3. Good look at it, didn't drop. Commodore. Well, they get out on Perry in a hurry. After a sluggish start, starting to shoot a little bit better is the sophomore.
Yeah, he spaces the court really well for them. They don't win that big game at Georgia without number 11 in white.
Nice ball fake. Commodore in the corner. Tapped around a couple of times. Rebound ends up with Pettiford.
Auburn is really checking out. They are finding bodies and making Ole Miss be one and done on this end of the court.
Here's Murphy. Back to Pettiford.
Nice job, Ole Miss. They practiced that flex cut several times and shoot around.
Murphy a little short on. Hits the front of the rim.
This Auburn team is going to be heavy in the gap, meaning they want the Ole Miss guards to see a lot of bodies in the paint.
Storr misfires from 3. It's going to belong to Auburn. Boy, you're right. The Tigers are really boxing out well. Here's a good look at the series history. Ole Miss leads 43-27 here in Oxford, but Auburn has won 9 straight over Ole Miss.
In the old days, you would take it personal, but most of those guys weren't here for any of those.
I know, it's like
wins.
it's like in football too. Yeah. Trends, they haven't won. Right. It's a whole different team every year.
You're waiting for somebody to be like, my God, I'm not going to let them beat me for the 4th straight year. But everybody's like, oh, doesn't mean much to me.
No, not anymore. Overton coming off the bench here tonight. Back to Pettiford.
With Ole Miss going to switch a bunch, you get into matchups, and you got to take advantage of them like Pettiford's doing right here.
Off the front of the rim. Jovic fouled on the way up. He'll have some free throws on the way. The young man, Filip Jovic, out of Bosnia and Herzegovina.
And Dave, Stephen Pearl raved about his coachability. And in the film room, he said, guys, we have got to shot fake when we get the ball inside. And Jovic, look at that. Multiple shot fakes. Patience. He is so mature for a freshman. And after that huge career game he had in that win against South Carolina, Stephen Pearl just raved about the fact that, man, you only got to tell this kid once. From Bosnia, came in with a language barrier. It's improving by the day. But Stephen Pearl kind of jokes, hey, this guy listens to me better than the fluent kids. And And it's been paying off for him.
A 20-year-old freshman at 6'8", 225. You mentioned that career performance against South Carolina. 23 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. He hit 9 of 12 from the field.
And that wasn't by accident. Auburn said, hey, look, South Carolina didn't like to double the post much, and we intentionally got him the ball and said, go to work, because they have seen the one-on-one game from him that maybe others haven't.
Keza Jiffa at the point now for Ole Miss. Another international player from Paris, France, transferred in from High Point. Knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Rebs. 14 on the shot clock. Well, there's one thing that Chris Beard has not been afraid to do this year, and that is shuffle his lineup. He plays 11, 12 guys. Long three from Perry. Got it.
And how do you lose contact with Perry? Yes, you've got to be at help side, but when you got a shooter on the court, you have to know your personnel. Way too much space.
Hall underneath, and he's fouled. That is what he does. He'll get to the free throw line.
And so that's now back-to-back possessions for Auburn, where they have done 4 head fakes in the lane. And that all comes on a nice post up here for Keyshawn Hall, who is one of the best, if not the best in the country at getting himself to the free throw line. And if you're Ole Miss, Dave, I mean, the instructions from Chris Beard were, hey, you've got to be the second guy off the ground, which is another way of saying you don't jump until the offensive player jumps. That way you're not putting yourself in harm's way.
Yeah, definite emphasis to his club today about how to defend a guy like Keyshawn Hall, who comes in second in the country in free throws made. Matter of fact, 36% of his points come off of free throws.
And that's a skill he's had early in his career. We'll get to his story a little bit later, but 300 pounds as a prep. Used to use that body quite a bit. He's kept that same attack and a leaner body.
Not a good pass by Scott, trying to hit D in the corner. Got through his hands. But here's a look at Keyshawn Hall and what it looked like in high school at 295, now to 225. Almost doesn't look like the same guy.
He said, he goes, look, I was always using my body getting to the free throw line as an under the rim big, and now I just use it as a guard.
Catch and shoot out of the corner from Elijah Freeman. Dia with a big rebound. A.J. Storr. Bounces off Freeman, spins and fires, no good. Rebound into the hands of Overton, who averages 3.5 boards a game. Jovic trying to set that high screen. Overton for 3. Tapped around, ball in the paint, tie up, and they're going to say jump ball. And it'll be Ole Miss possession.
So right now, if you're Ole Miss, in some ways you'd like to say, hey, let's get the ball on the inside. We haven't got to the free throw line yet. Auburn has not even committed a foul. So how can you get on the interior? And that's really just not been their strength.
Scott working hard to keep it alive, but finds Overton. Charlotte got hammered by Dia. That'll get us to our under 12 timeout. Auburn leading by 2. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Progressive Insurance. Bundle home and auto and save. Visit progressive.com, and in part by DQ. Happy taste.
Effort seems pretty obvious, but like, is that something you can foster as teammates and stuff, or like, how do you develop that urgency, I suppose?
I mean, you can't really do too much.
Yeah, we can. We can play different players.
Yeah.
We can play different players. That's what we did in the second half, where we won the second half by 7 points. We can play different players. We can fix effort.
I think that was a pretty big statement from the coach to A.J. Storr, who started the first 14 games, coming off the bench the last 4. Maybe message received from A.J. What's going on with him? Because he certainly turned the corner.
One of my favorite pressers of
Yes.
the year right there. I think it all starts with Chris Beard and his non-negotiables. And the fact that he was willing to do hockey lineups, they rotated more starting lineups and bench guys. He was willing to lose games with the right type of players out there than just try to keep the talent on the floor. And I think once Storr became bought into the mentality, the toughness, the effort that he needed, all of a sudden his offensive game started to emerge. And if you think about where Storr's confidence has been, what we've seen in the past week or two is the most confident version we've seen of him since Wisconsin as a sophomore. He transferred to Kansas, didn't go that well there. Comes to Ole Miss, gets off to a poor start. And now you're starting to see why there was so much hype to him coming to Oxford.
Kind of the crown jewel of this transfer class. As Hall knocks home that free throw, making it a 5-point Auburn advantage. Auburn's now hit 6 of 7 from the free throw line here in the first half. Comerdine gets it around the perimeter. Casilla on the floor, 88 in white. That's going to be a foul against Auburn underneath. We're talking about AJ. He's transferred colleges. He's on his 4th college in 4 years. Also went to 4 high schools in 4 years. He has been coached by a lot of different folks.
8 and 8, and yeah, Chris Beard will be the first to tell you there's a little bit more to the story. There was the COVID year in high school where he needed to switch schools. His mom switched jobs, then a chance to go to IMG, and then, but at the end of the day, 8 schools in 8 years is a lot of turnover, and so for him to get comfortable is quick work by Chris Beard. And I just love the fact how hard Chris Beard has coached his players and made every single one of them accountable.
Pinkins, the freshman, on the floor for the Rebels. Shot clock down to 6. Storr shot no good. Tapped around a couple of times. It'll belong to Auburn. Well, coming up next on ESPN, Super Tuesday rolls on with the final game of the night. Darren Peterson in Kansas will square off against Colorado in Butler. And when Peterson is on, he is worth your time.
Boy, isn't he? I mean, he makes the game look so easy and effortless. And a freshman to be playing as well as he is, including guys we see here today with Pat Pinkins. You think about what freshmen are having to play against now that they weren't 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
You're talking about 24, 25, 26-year-olds, the way college basketball is. So when these young freshmen are playing as well as they are, I think it's more impressive than ever.
Here is Pinkins, averaging 8 points. 2 biggest shots of his young career, the last 2 games out. Shot clock at 5. Pinkins trying to find a little bit of room. A little step back, got it.
They do such a good job, these Ole Miss guards. They bump, spin, and fade, and that's how they get their separation for these open mid-range shots.
Here's Freeman. Pettiford. To High. Hit from there a little while ago. This one misses everything and saved. Be another chance for Freeman. Shot clock at 4. Gets to the rim. Storr all the way down, and you can count it. He'll head to the free throw line.
A.J. Storr is playing aggressive, but in transition, he is an absolute locomotive. He loves seeing space. He loves staying in the middle of the court, absorbing contact. And man, if there is a guy that you need to corral and make him give it up in transition, it's this guy right here. And it's been so fun to see his confidence switch almost overnight over the past couple of weeks.
He had 17 points, 4 rebounds in his last outing against Mississippi State. Averaging 18 points in SEC games. That time able to go. Boy, Auburn's missed 3 or 4 kind of chippies around the rim here in the first half. That one able to go.
Yeah, Freeman is one of those guys that has the potential where it could be good defense, better offense.
Little scoop shot from Patton Pinkins.
What a week he had. I mean, there's a lot of players out there in college basketball that dream of making a game-winning shot, and the freshman did it
once in their career.
Yeah, and he did it in back-to-back games on the road.
I thought the shot against Mississippi State as Auburn turns it over. The ball fake, he didn't get rushed late in the game and stepped in and made a nice little, not an easy shot, but it just showed the savvy that he brings to the table.
Yeah, and I think that was more of not being afraid of the moment, willing to take the big shot. You know, the tip-in he had at Georgia was instinctive and it was effort. But the one on the road was, hey, I'll take the big shot. And he stepped up, and he just does not act or play like a freshman. This kid, 23, 2 turnovers on the whole season. There's not a freshman out there playing this many minutes that can say the same.
Batted around a couple of times. Who's going to win that battle? Casilla does. Shot clock at 3. Somebody better let it go. Deep 3, no good from Pinkins, and tapped around, and it'll belong to Auburn.
This is an Auburn team that likes to run a lot of set plays in the half court. And that can be a challenge for their offensive scheme because Ole Miss likes to switch a lot. And so can you get favorable switches, then attack off that and make the right play in the paint? That's the challenge for Auburn.
Overton for 3. Murphy keeps it alive. Freeman will try for 3. In and out.
And that's the shot they like, though. Coach Pearl felt like they would get a lot of threes on offensive rebound kickouts.
Comardine able to connect.
He controls the pace of the game. He is the quarterback of this Ole Miss team.
Murphy at the free throw line. Shot clock at single digits again. Pettiford lost it. Comardine on a little run out. Alley-oop to Storr. Boy, good job by Overton just to kind of make Storr get away from the rim, and Pettiford makes him pay on the other end.
Yeah, I can't say Pettiford did a great job getting back after that turnover, but he did a great job getting out for the fast break. Not often do you get rewarded for not sprinting back after a turnover.
5th tie of the game here in the first half. 6:43 to go. Here's Storr.
This is where he likes to bump, kind of fade you.
Comardine, no good. Rebound to Freeman.
And this is where Ole Miss can play some zone, man. It can confuse you. Where Auburn needs to call a play that can work zone or man. That's what this coaching staff is preaching to their team. Don't hesitate.
Murphy trying to back in Comardine. Oh, what a big-time move, and he finishes on the follow.
Yeah, that was a great spin move, and a good job by Murphy not taking the bait and settling from 3. Inside shots lead to inside rebounds, and that's now 8 offensive boards for the Tigers.
7 rebounds for Murphy to go with his 4 points. I'd say that's impacting the game. Here's Scott. 25 feet from the basket. Oh, Freeman read it. In the open 4. Boy, just looking down at Chris Beard, there is some frustration.
And this is a pace I think Auburn's comfortable with right now. Keeping it in the half court. If they can score early in transition, as they did right there, if not, they'll take some clock.
Another turnover. Pettiford. He is fouled on the way to the basket. It's a 6-0 Auburn run as we go to timeout.
Well, Auburn wanted to throw the first punch in this game. They've done it with their rebounding, they've done it with their intensity, and they've done it with their effort. And right now, they've gotten a couple easy bunnies where it's hard to come by with points in the half court. If you give multiple chances, you can make good on those misses.
Well, here's our ESPN NBA Wednesday Rivals Week doubleheader. Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs are in Charlotte taking on LaMelo Ball and the Hornets. That's at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Then SGA and the Thunder square off against Giannis and the Bucks. NBA countdown tips off coverage at 6:30. Bucks just rolled into Atlanta and took down the Hawks yesterday in front of a huge crowd on MLK Day. We're having some clock issues here, and now, matter of fact, we are having a major clock issue.
Yeah.
It was running during our timeout. They couldn't stop it, and now they just shut it off. It's the old reset, right?
Yeah. Went from running incorrectly to not running at all. But
You know, let's talk about this Ole Miss team for a moment. Chris Beard, of course, last year, what a remarkable run. Gets to the Sweet 16, did some marvelous things, revamps the entire team, and it's taken a while. And you talked about he is not afraid to roll players in and out. From a player's perspective, is it hard to kind of find a role and a rhythm when you do stuff like that? And when does it kind of click for you?
yeah, I think there's a balance there. As a player, I've seen to me, you want to expect where to get your minutes. Hey, if I'm coming off the bench, how many minutes per game am I going to play? Where is my role? So that I know going into the game about what to expect. Because the old adage of, hey, just stay ready when your number's called, easier said than done. Especially in today's world when mom and dad saying, hey, you think you're going to play today? Oh, I don't know. But if you can expect where you get your minutes, Ole Miss has morphed into that. And earlier in the season, it was more about him sending a message saying, nobody is going to be given a spot until you earn it. But here recently, nobody has made Ole Miss have to mass substitute because the effort's been good. And so that was a challenge for Auburn was, hey, can we get Coach Beard frustrated enough with his team that he starts mass subbing? And I think that's where Auburn could win the game. So far, we haven't seen the mass substitutions, but that is a theme that I think if you go against Ole Miss, you say, hey, can we get to their bench?
Well, obviously last week does wonders for any team that might have been psyche a little bit rattled, because anytime you can come up with a couple of clutch buzzer beaters, that's got to do wonders for you.
Yeah, I thought this was as important of a week for a team as anybody in the country. This was an Ole Miss team that needed this type of road win, that culture, that camaraderie. I cannot tell you what a road win can do for your locker room, much less consecutive road wins that end with a rivalry victory as well. So this team has been humming, which makes this start for Auburn that much more impressive.
And to do that second late game winner on the road in Starkville against your rival is really impressive.
Yeah, both these teams won games despite going a combined 4 for 39 from 3. I mean, they were ice cold in those two victories, but found a way.
Yeah, Auburn in their last win against South Carolina, just 2 of 19 from behind the arc. It's their fewest makes this season. But talking to Stephen Pearl today, he's like, you know what, they're really only, of those 19, only 5 he thought were questionable looks. Everything else he can live with.
Right.
So the clock issue fixed. 6-point Tiger lead. Jiffa trying to dump it inside to Corey Chest. That one's off the front of the rim, and a second chance opportunity. That foul. Gonna go to Mashalik. That'll be his second. The junior out of Dallas has kind of worked his way into this rotation, getting 8 to 10 minutes out of him because of the way he plays and what he brings him for Stephen Pearl defensively.
And Mashalik has taken more elbows and hits in this game, and then he's a little frustrated. Wait a minute, you called the foul on me right there? I barely touched the guy. I've been taking a beating.
Jiffa back to Perry. Already hit 1-3 here tonight.
That's a great closeout by Mashalik there.
The shot launched as the horn sounds. Rebound falls to Murphy. Boy, Murphy just doesn't move like somebody who's 6'10". Williams-Adams will back it out. The former 5-star, top 30 player in the country. Shot clock at 5. Overton, nice pass inside, and that'll be a foul against Ole Miss, and that will send Murphy to the free throw line.
Check out this defense by Auburn, and it is just bodies on bodies. Ole Miss is getting nothing on the offensive rebound. Great effort by the Tigers on the defensive rebound. for this Ole Miss team is when they can make their opponent be one and done on that end of the court. Their defensive rebounding percentage, when it's above 71%, 8-1, below just 3-6. However, that's also the strength of this Auburn team, one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country. They rank 10th, and tonight Auburn has gotten 43% of their misses. I can promise you that will be priority number one in the halftime locker room for Chris Beard. He will tell his team, you are not going to win this game if you don't start boxing out on that end of the court.
Auburn, 8 offensive rebounds. Ole Miss, 6 defensive rebounds. Murphy at the free throw line, is 64% foul shooter, gets 1 out of 2. Lead is 7, largest lead of the game. Here's A.J. Storr, hit his first shot, then quiet since. Little step back by Dia.
And I think if Ole Miss is more patient, they had Storr on Pettiford in the post. Like, just throw it to Storr. Instead, you settle for mid-range.
Hall misfires, top of the key 3, chased down by Pinkins.
I try to go to the same look. If Auburn's going to switch, and they're going to live with Pettiford being down on the post with Storr, I'd go to that all day if I'm Ole Miss.
Storr defended by Hall. Gets it inside to Corey Chest. Chest off the backboard, hit on the arm. He'll step to the free throw line. Neither team shooting it very well. Auburn 34%, Ole Miss at 32%. And the struggles for Auburn behind the arc are real. 2 for 19 in their last game against South Carolina, and they are 1 for 8 to start this one. Ole Miss just snaps a 4.5-minute scoring drought with that free throw by Corey Chest. The young man who is out of New Orleans. Transferred in from LSU.
Well, Dave, the physicality that we've talked about on the rebounding side translates to the free throw line as well. And so this just being the 3rd free throw attempt for Ole Miss compared to 11 for Auburn.
Chest knocks the free throw home.
It's a smaller lineup for Ole Miss, but an aggressive, fast one. And I think a physical one that, despite being small, can hold their own on the boards.
Yeah, Corey Chest at 6'8" is their largest frame.
This is where you might see 33, Williams-Adams. Like to get him into the paint and get those offensive boards.
Corey Chest. Strong take to the basket, gets that miss, goes back up. That one's blocked by Murphy. Right into the hands of Perry. Shot clock down to 5. Step back 3, good. Travis Perry starting to feel it now. A couple of threes here tonight. Last couple of games, he has found his stroke.
He has hit some big shots for him, and that really got the crowd into it. Auburn did everything right on that possession, and Perry said, all right, big fella, 6'8", if you're going to come try to guard me out here, let me make you move your feet a little bit, but then let me get back to my sweet spot from deep. So how can Auburn try to get 33, maybe on a post-up, if nothing else, get inside rebound position?
Williams-Adams watching Keyshawn Hall trying to do a little reverse layup, but wasn't far enough beyond the rim. It goes out of bounds. It'll belong to the Rebels.
Ole Miss, they went really small against Georgia on the road. Malik Dia, who's out this right now with those 2 personal fouls, but Malik Dia hardly played in that second half at Georgia, and they have multiple lineups they can use throughout the course of the game for whatever the scouting report may call for.
Pinkins. Back to Perry. Tried to alley-oop it to Corey Chest. It'll stay with the Rebels. 7 on the shot clock, 1:23 before halftime. Comerdine. Klafke, long three. Back of the rim. Rebound, Freeman.
Well, for folks watching for the first time in the SEC, I promise there's a lot of offense in this league. You're not seeing it right now in the first half.
Boy, nice work underneath. Jovic. Little pump fake. Got everybody off their feet, laid it up and in. Yeah, you mentioned that. The SEC as a whole averages over 85 points a game, the highest scoring conference in America.
Yeah. But I think some of this is two really good defensive teams. Scouting reports to a T. It gets tougher and tougher to score in conference as the season goes on.
Comedy, corner three.
And they just don't want to leave that corner three. That's a spot they do not want to give up while Stephen Pearl slams his hand against the scorer's table.
Rebels down 1. Tigers can hold for a final shot. Pettiford with the basketball. Here's Hall. Step back three with 5. No good. Another missed three. They are 1 for 10 from behind the arc here in the first half. And you left enough time for Ole Miss to get a shot away.
Yeah, you did. I mean, that was a difficult shot, but you still, as a coach, expect your player to at least hit the rim, and they're ice cold from deep. But this has been an impressive close to the half for Ole Miss. This was a very ugly first 17 minutes for Ole Miss. But they've been resilient. They went to a small lineup, and they put a nice little run on here to close the gap, try to get the momentum heading into half.
28-27. 4 lead changes, 5 ties here in the first half. Deshaun Murphy has put together a 9-rebound game. A season high is 10. Here's Perry, a long three off the front of the rim, and that's no good. And that'll do it for the first half of hoops here in Oxford, Mississippi. A low-scoring affair, 28-27. Auburn out in front. You see Auburn 9-1 when they lead at half. Can they keep it rolling? So our halftime score, Auburn 28, Ole Miss 27. Time to get it to the studio. Kevin Connors, the Tigers in the first half this season, but Keyshawn Murphy has been really aggressive, grabbing those missed shots.
Yeah. And I think right now, Stephen Pearl is probably reiterating to his team, or he did at the half, the same thing he said to them in film room this morning. He goes, guys, we have to trust. We have to trust each other, trust the coaches, trust the game plan. And right now, the game plan is working on one end of the court. Now they've got to get back to their execution here on this end of the court.
Williams, Adams, they go to him right away and muscles his way down to that low block and gets the first 2.
And a smart play. Dia playing with those 2 fouls. He's been on the bench for quite a while, and they go right at Dia to try to get him out of the game.
Dia's been very quiet. 2 points, only 3 shot attempts for Malik Dia. Dia, double team, kicks it back out to A.J. Storr, who gets the start in the second half. Comerdine, step back 3 on the way, no good. Another rebound for Murphy. He's a season high now with 10.
He has been a beast.
Inside to Hall. Boy, they surround him in a hurry. Corner 3 on the way, in and out. The follow no good, almost. Sebastian Adams.
You got 5 on 4 if you're Ole Miss. Great job by Williams Adams getting back.
Deacons. Storr.
Dia's got Pettiford on him, and I feel like he's not even trying to ask for that mismatch. Now they have enough time to switch back.
Deacons, the ball fake up in the air, too strong. Rebound to Murphy.
Dave, anytime you play a team, this goes for both squads, and it switches a lot. You have to be aware of when you get a favorable switch.
A.J. Storr. Boy, back and forth we go. Not much to show for it, though.
I'm not sure you don't go right back to that Dia look you had earlier, knowing that he's going to be reluctant to play too physical in the post.
Murphy at the logo. Murphy again. This time it goes. Keyshawn Murphy is 1 rebound away from a career high. He has 13 now.
The first 4 points of this half for Auburn have all been against Dia, who is walling up but not super aggressive.
Pinkins. Malik Dia.
Look, as soon as Dia spins, Auburn brings that help.
Nice little cut underneath by Pinkins, able to lay it up and in.
And that was a really bad defensive possession for Hall. He gave up the offensive rebound, and then he just got back cut by Pinkins.
Three-point Tiger lead. Here's Murphy working on Scott. A couple of big boys going at it. Murphy draws the foul. Boy, you can just kind of sense Murphy's feeling it right now.
Yeah, and they're going to him early. Here's that back cut. You're going to keep an eye on Hall here, and then he's going to go right behind. Looks like he might have got caught a little bit ball watching here, staring at the ball, and his man just sneaks right behind him. That's the attention to detail and focus that Stephen Pearl is looking for on a consistent basis, because this team is not as talented as they were a year ago. They lost so much, and the margin for error just isn't what it was a year ago to win road games.
Murphy 2 out of 3 at the free throw line tonight. Here's a look at what you're talking about, and that is an unenviable task.
And how about Dylan Cardwell?
Yes.
Balling out for the Sacramento Kings. I mean, it is awesome to see role players, glue guys. I mean, it is awesome to see role players, glue guys in the SEC getting drafted and getting an opportunity. And Cardwell is going to be used as a great example for many players for years to come.
Yeah, he's just not on the roster. He's playing.
Yep.
He's a factor for the Kings. And a foul. But Dylan Cardwell, who was Mr. Energizer for Auburn for a number of years, has taken that out to Sacramento.
Yeah, I mean, you think about all the talent in the SEC last year. I can't remember once where we said, you know what, I can't wait to see Cardwell playing at the next level. But if you focus on what he can do instead of what he can't do, it does make sense. They've surrounded him with shooters, a good system. It doesn't take every team in the NBA to like you. It just takes one. And Dylan Cardwell, what a great career. Stayed at the same school the entire time, never transferred, did whatever the team asked. Jeremiah Mashack's a guy at Tennessee, similar type role in terms of defensive mastermind. He got drafted late. So this league is more than just stars. These role players have a chance to play at the next level as well.
So Casilla 2 out of 2 at the free throw line, takes it back to a 3-point Auburn lead. Adams. Boy, nice cut though by Freeman. He got fouled.
That's a terrific cut by Freeman out of that baseline corner. If you move on penetration, good things will happen. And Auburn is a willing passing team. Here's the penetration. This is your center. Off 2 feet, making the right play. I mean, that's exactly what Auburn wants in the half court. Draw multiple defenders and end that possession with a cut.
Freeman at the line. Freeman 72%. Left that one a little bit short. Started the first 9 games, then volunteered to come off the bench, and since that happened, he's averaging 12.5 points with a career high 27 against Queens.
Well, and we're not at the first media timeout, and Malik Dia has not picked up another foul, but they've already subbed him out. And this is not me trying to bash Malik Dia, but this is just an Ole Miss team that has had some success with a smaller lineup, and I think that's why they're going to it so early, because Dia and Scott both are -9, -11, and those are your bigger lineup guys.
Pinkins well short.
He's better off the catch threes and putting on the deck for floaters.
Jovic. Boy, did he get right up underneath that rim and took advantage.
That's as good of a rim run and seal as you can have. He plays much bigger than his size.
Storm. That one's no good, and a foul against Corey Chest. Jovic with the box out, draws the foul.
I mean, this is what you want. Jovic running down the lane, sealing the smaller defender, holding him off, showing that target hand, and then an easy two down low.
May I have your attention, please? The league's biggest stars shine on a brand new stage, celebrating the season with an AFC-NFC showdown, flag football style.
Yeah, 101.
One game, all the Sellies. Tuesday, February 3rd at 8 on ESPN.
The Australian Open continues on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Philip Jovic is emerging as one of my favorite glue guys in the SEC. He does all the little things, the shot fakes to draw the fouls. That was the game plan. That's why that play is so important. The pick and roll, the patience, and just being in the right spot. When the coach puts you in the game, he knows what you're going to do, what is asked. He knows what he's going to get from you game in, game out. You become a trustworthy player. And this Auburn team is simply better when he's on the court because of the little things he does, despite just being a freshman here in the SEC.
Hey, last 3.5 SEC games, he is now 18 of 21 from the field. Woo. Yeah.
And he's got more offensive rebounds than defensive rebounds in league play. So those are those extra possessions he's giving this team. And a really interesting story about how he was found as a prospect in Bosnia. Stephen Pearl said, well, became friends with the agent. They were looking at Florida, but Florida had Alex Condon come back. He said, hey, I don't think Florida's going to be able to take another one. Would you be interested? He said, yeah, if Florida's interested, I think I am.
Right.
And the first time he stepped foot on Auburn campus was for class. And they did everything via Zoom, and here he is.
Yeah, Steven said the first time he ever met him face-to-face is when he went to Atlanta to pick him up at the airport. Garcia. Jovic with some nice defense, forced a tough shot. Shot clock down to 2. Chest fires and connects. That is a 2-pointer. They will look at it at the next break.
And Stephen Pearl has his hands in the air saying, Keyshawn Hall, will you please get the defensive rebound? Because that's now 4 points they've given up here in the second half. Hall missing box outs.
Boy, Auburn up by 6.
Scramble. Got it off. Not sure if that was behind the line or not.
Taken away by Pettiford. High off the window and fouled by Perry. 3-point opportunity on the way.
What a play by Pettiford, and one with the right hand against the Ole Miss team that really doesn't turn the ball over much. And still only 5 turners for Ole Miss, but they have been some pick-6 type plays as we've seen multiple times. Auburn streaking to the other end for easy 2s.
Largest lead for Auburn is 9 right now. Jiffa. Back to Store. AJ hit his first shot. Since then, he's gone 1 for 9, but then answers the call. AJ Store now up to 8 points, his first 3 of the game and the first 3 of the half for the Rebels.
And I like that shot for him because he loves the mid-range so much, but you got to have the defense respect your ability to step back and shoot the 3, and that'll open up the mid-range for the drive.
Jovic, back to Freeman. Freeman over Perry. He's fouled, and some free throws coming up. So Freeman will step to the line. Sophomore out of Palm Beach, Florida, transferred in from Division II Lincoln Memorial, where he averaged 19 points, 9 rebounds. It's always a big question, D2 to D1. Will it especially in this league, will it translate? Thursday on ESPN and the ESPN app, this should be the women's basketball matchup of the night. Joyce Edwards and number 2 South Carolina square off against Reagan Beers and number 13 Oklahoma at the Lloyd Noble Center in Norman. Coverage tips at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. Back to Freeman. Didn't take long for Stephen Pearl to realize that with his athletic ability that, yeah, it would translate.
Yeah, and he said, look, he's a sophomore, but you really got to treat him like a freshman. You go from D2 to the SEC. But right now, a veteran on the court is Malik Dia. He's played 10 minutes, and he does not have an offensive rebound. And Beard challenged him this year. He said, hey, look, the best offensive rebounders get one every 8 minutes. In league play, he's been able to get one every 9, so he stepped up to the challenge. And they need him now desperately if they're going to win this game.
Comardine. Michalek will pick up the foul. That'll be his 3rd.
Hey, I'm going to talk like a coach for a minute. If I'm Malik Dia, saying, hey, man, you're a senior in the SEC. You better not let this freshman from Bosnia beat you up on this end of the court. We're going to go to you, and you go dominate. I mean, that's the conversation you got to have, and Malik Dia's got to take it personal right now.
Intercepted. Williams Adams. Jiffa couldn't stop the freight train. 10-point lead. Chris Beard about to lose his mind. Store spins, elevates, tapped around, taken by Overton. Williams Adams will slow it down.
This is a play call heavy Auburn team. And if they don't have something in transition, they have great faith in their set plays.
Oh, gets his own miss and the putback. Lead is a dozen. Now the largest lead of the night. Perry will fire for 3. Got it, his 3rd of the game.
What a timely shot that was from Perry. They desperately needed that one.
Michalek tied up. Williams Adams got it. Timeout taken by Auburn after that 3. Williams Adams just 26% from behind the arc.
This is an Ole Miss team that has mostly played against zone baseline out of bounds defense. Auburn, the first man-to-man they faced in the SEC, and they turned it over there, but then Perry with a big-time answer here. But then right after that, Auburn with yet another 3 from Williams Adams.
51-40 now. If you were paying attention, went to break. Ole Miss was sitting on 39, but they have an extra point because of this shot from Corey Chest that was ruled a 2. They finally went back and looked at it and said it was a 3.
Yeah, that was the first opportunity the officials had to go take a look at it, and they can, on their own, go look at scoring errors, timing errors, things of that nature. And that's why you see the change in the score.
Hey, that was Corey Chest's first three-point attempt and make of the year.
Leading the league.
Should give him the game ball. Storm. A push by Auburn as he was passing the basketball, but that is going to be a timeout on the floor. The last one taken a moment ago was our first called timeout, and now it'll be a media timeout. It's our under 12 timeout. Everybody's looking around like, what the heck? But that's how it goes, folks. 51-40, Auburn by 11, 10:50 to play at the Pavilion here in Oxford.
Well, this Ole Miss team doesn't turn it over often, but when they do, you've got to capitalize. And these live ball turnovers have really been a difference in the game for Auburn. As you've seen it lead to some easy buckets on the other end. They are 13 of 19 on layups. They've been able to get to the rim. It's been hard to come by in the half court at times, so they've been very opportunistic. This is what won them the game against Arkansas. They said, hey, we're either going to score early in transition or score late in the clock. That is trusting the offense in the process that Coach Pearl has put in place here to try to steal a road win.
They had 9 made field goals in the first half. They have 8 here in the second half already. Shooting 57% are the Tigers. Auburn will get a chance to get a few at the free throw line as A.J. Storr will tow it.
Neither of these teams really hurt themselves. Auburn averaging just right at 11 turnovers a game, Ole Miss 10. And that's part of the identity for this Chris Beard program is how well they've taken care of the ball, not just this season, but last year they set a program record with under 10 a game. The year prior, they were right at 11.
Yeah, wouldn't it be the 3 lowest turnover numbers since they've been keeping that stat for Ole Miss?
Yeah, they have done a terrific job, and I think that's because of their discipline and their shot selection.
Last touch by Ole Miss. Well, that's what it's looked like. That is pretty good stuff right there. That's giving yourself a chance.
When you got 3 straight years, potentially, of the top 3. and you know what? And Andy Kennedy, when he was here, they were great at that as well. He said, hey, look, we're going to take a lot of shots early. It might take them quick, but at least we're getting a shot up. And so to set program records is not easy to do, but Chris Beard.
Yeah, I think Coach Beard might want to challenge this call. I think that's what the discussion is right now. And he's not going to risk a timeout.
Stephen Pearl saying, wait a minute. Everybody just gets to huddle up. They get a little extra time to make their decision, then we get back out here. I've enjoyed the challenges. I think it's been a good thing, despite some of the delays.
Williams-Adams can't get it to go. They're going to call a foul on Jovic on the rebound.
And that was an entanglement down low. They got Jovic. He thought he was boxing out pretty well. Corey Chest, I'm not sure if Chest expected the call to be on him or not, but that's going to go against Jovic. But Ole Miss has done a better job keeping the Tigers off the offensive glass since that first half.
Boy, that was a tough shot by A.J. Storr right over Sebastian Williams-Adams. And we're back to a 7-point game. Storr up to a dozen points. Freeman has his shot blocked, and Chest just took down a couple of folks in the paint, Pinkins and Freeman. We're Marquette is a big man at 6'8", 225.
And that shows you Freeman's athleticism and how slithery he is. There's not many guys that can go into traffic against all that help side of Ole Miss and split multiple defenders and get all the way to the rim. But this guy has as big of a ceiling as anybody on this Auburn team.
That foul was on Pinkins, his first. He made the contact before Chess came over there and blew up everything. So here's Freeman at the free throw line, 72% on the year, and this is another one. Freeman 3 out of 5 tonight. He was held scoreless for South Carolina. 0 for 5 from the field, did have 6 rebounds, but had back-to-back games with 13 points before that scoreless outing. So Keyshawn Hall will check back into the game. Keyshawn with 11 points. Kind of a quiet 11, just 1 rebound for Keyshawn.
Yeah.
Here's A.J. Storr. Bumps into Williams-Adams, draws the contact. And for Sebastian, that'll be his second, and now Ole Miss in a 1-and-1 situation.
And that's the awareness you have to have with a switching team. He gets the big man out there, no hesitation. Make the big fella try to guard one of the better scorers in the league. And now this is part of the story is Ole Miss is a team that likes to get to the bonus early. And here they are already.
Storm at the line, 75% this year. Knocked home the first one. Klafke will check in for Perry. A.J. Storr went to Kansas last year and had a really good season at Wisconsin, then transferred to Kansas last year and just never got it on track. Averaged 6 points, couple of rebounds.
Silly foul there by
Yeah.
Chest. Because just when you get yourself in the bonus, you're at the free throw line, you just immediately send Auburn to the stripe.
So 17 fouls this half for both clubs. By the way, the third foul on Corey Chess now.
And right now, if I'm Auburn, I'm saying, hey, guys, they've got a smaller lineup. We are the 10th best offensive rebounding team in the country. When the shot goes up on this side of the court, we better attack them.
So I think Stephen Pearl,
He may want to see if that was a hook and hold.
Being appealed by the coach from Auburn.
We'll see if Chess clamped down on that or not. I'm not 100% sure what they're looking at.
so you get a bunch of appeals, but if you lose a timeout. And if you don't have any timeouts and you appeal and lose, it's a technical foul.
Yeah, I mean, they got tangled up. I don't think Chess continued to clamp down. I mean, his elbow was bent, but I don't know that that was enough of what they call a clamp down to initiate a flagrant one. I'd be surprised if this got upgraded. But, you know, when Hall jumps in the air, that's the reason the rule is in place.
Well, this is the challenge rule. There is an appeal rule, but this is the challenge which we see on out-of-bounds plays.
That's right, yeah. This one is an appeal, and it can still cost you a timeout, but it does not count against your challenge, which can be confusing for the audience. But appeals can be for things such as this, or scoring errors, or timing errors. But this was a rule put in place, these hook and holds. Purdue's Isaac Haas had a season-ending injury when he jumped in the air, and he was clamped down. Yeah. And they've tried to take it out of the game.
Doug Shouse and Chuck Jordan over there continue to look. You see him on the monitor. Now Will Howard, third official.
This is tough for me.
Well, he's got
both
guys on that look.
I know. The more I see it, and with Hall jumping in the air, I think that puts him even more at risk, that if he continues to clamp. So I might go back on what I said and can see them upgrading this. Now we've had multiple looks.
After further review, we have a common foul that was called on the floor. So therefore, we're going to shoot a bonus down there for Auburn. The home coach, or excuse me, the visiting coach in Auburn, they've lost the timeout.
So they appealed, lost the appeal, so a common foul. So it'll just be free throws at the other end.
Yeah. This one's been a little bit inconsistent. We saw at Vanderbilt, Florida, and that controversial ending where there was a hook and hold and then one that was not deemed a hook and hold. And that one was just right there on the line. So Auburn loses that timeout. But again, that does not mean they lose their challenge, which can be used in situations such as if there's a deflection that they want to challenge or a goaltend.
Well, Auburn, they live at the free throw line. They are fourth in the country in free throws attempted per game. And they continue to go. They're 18 of 22 at the line tonight. Another three on the way from Perry. He has definitely got his shot back.
I just love how shot ready he was. He stepped into that thing. He knew he was going to let it go before that pass even came to him. Hall gave way too much space on a confident shooter.
Perry is 4 out of 6 from behind the arc. Cross-court pass to Overton. He'll fire for three. Auburn now 2 of 16. Remember, in their last game, they were 2 of 19. Tigers holding this 6-point advantage. Storr. Commerdine, no good.
I would have liked Storr to keep that one and see if he could have taken Murphy off the bounce and get himself to the free throw line.
8:45 to play. Here's Hall. Shot clock in single digits. To the basket, count it. I don't know how you stop that when he starts going downhill.
Yeah, you've got to try to bring a lot of help. I mean, typically when Auburn starts kind of dancing with the ball up top and it's sticking, that means good things, but they do have good one-on-one players, and typically you see a lot more help and more bodies as an offensive player. But with Dia out of the picture and Pinkins not wanting to help too far off that corner, good drive by Hall.
Can't convert that free throw. Career 83% foul shooter for Keyshawn Hall. Here's Perry with 4 threes tonight. Boy, deflection by Overton. Boy, Malik Diaz on the floor, but you wouldn't know it. Just 2 points tonight. Dia came in averaging over 14 points, 7 rebounds. Here's Perry working against Pettiford. Nowhere to go.
Yeah, and just not his game. Somebody needs to come get it.
Dia tried to get it, but it finds Hall.
I think that some of that's on Perry's teammates. Just watching him dribble with the ball, knowing that he's not a one-on-one ISO type guy, you got to start moving without the ball.
Pettiford inside, and a foul as Murphy went up with the basketball.
Well, good execution by Pettiford. I mean, he has not been dynamite offensively, but just one turnover in this game and managing this game pretty well for Auburn.
Welcome to the greatest show on earth.
ball is already rolling now for this new season.
Introducing Sports Center for you, personalized every single day. Now available on the ESPN app. Powered by your favorites.
The Auburn Tigers lead it by 8, 56-48, 7:42 to play here at Oxford. Ole Miss on this three-game winning streak. Auburn has won 9 straight in this series as Keyshawn Murphy knocks home that free throw. How about him with a double-double tonight, now with 10 points and 13 rebounds. Second double-double of the season, and actually his second in the last 4 games.
He's been huge, and he really started this season not very healthy. He essentially kind of playing on one leg, but the more healthy he's got, the more impactful he's been. And he likes playing against this Ole Miss team. He played well against them last year at Mississippi State.
Perry off to Store. Takes it inside, drew some contact, and he'll head to the line.
I think that's where Ole Miss is really at their best. When Store has the ball at the top of the key, he likes to stay in the middle of the floor. He can go left, right, and Auburn just kind of has a mental breakdown there, jumping for that pump fake.
So A.J. connects. A.J. Store now to 14 points, 5 rebounds, a couple of assists. Ole Miss 9 of 10 at the line as a team, but Auburn's been there 25 times and knocked home 20 of them.
And Auburn's needed it because they have been ice cold from 3. And you just feel like if Auburn can connect on 1 or 2 from deep, they can really extend this lead.
Here's Overton. Goes baseline. Gets it to Murphy. Count it. He'll head to the line. What a night for Keyshawn Murphy.
He's really been the best player on the floor. And it started from the jump. I mean, he imposed his will on this game early with his defensive rebounding intensity. Then he got to the offensive glass and just smart decision making here. For a big fella to get it 8 to 10 feet away from the basket and have to dribble, that can usually result in a turnover or charge. But a really crafty move there by Murphy.
14 and 14, career high, ties a career high in rebounds for Murphy. And it matches the largest lead of the night for Auburn at 12.
If you're Ole Miss, you want to spread Auburn out and drive these bigs. You are the smaller, quicker lineup. Make these bigs guard.
Store spins to the line. Jiffa.
I just don't like it settling right there. I mean, you got the big man on the perimeter. Jiffa's a really crafty player. 2 dribbles and you'd be to the cup.
Murphy, good catch down the baseline, tied up. Got the shot up in the air, but they're going to say a tie-up. Basketball will stay with the Tigers. 11 on the shot clock.
And that's exactly where you need to go if you're Auburn. I mean, this is a chess match of, all right, can Auburn's bigs hold their own on the defensive side and then really take advantage of the mismatch as Casillas going to come in for Jiffa to try to bring a little bit more girth to this Ole Miss lineup.
Here's Keyshawn Hall. Gets it back to Pettiford. Williams-Adams goes baseline. Casillas fouls him. More free throws coming up. Well, you can see why this Auburn team is 4th in the country in free throw attempts. 505 coming into this game, and they've put up another 26 already.
And Williams-Adams, this kid is a great personality. He won me over in their press conference after last game when he showed how happy he was for Jovic and just said, you know, that he loves him as his brother. And when you have that chemistry with your freshmen, it does a lot for your program as you try to retain and build under Stephen Pearl. And
trickles that one through the nylon, and Sebastian Williams-Adams now has back-to-back-to-back double-figure scoring games. He had 12 against Missouri, 11 versus South Carolina in his last game, and 10 here tonight.
And now 31, Zach Day checks in for Ole Miss, and that shows you how displeased Chris Beard is with the current rotation as he's searching for answers to try to get a spark.
Patton Pinkins now with 8 after that made shot. Timeout taken by Ole Miss. We'll step aside. 6:05 to go. Auburn leading by 11. Of course, a Final Four coach himself. And for Stephen Pearl, his first year out of the gates. How about Chris Beard is now the 7th coach this season that has taken a team to the Final Four that Stephen Pearl's had to match wins against.
One seed over. Welcome to being a head coach. When you look out there, I see a lot of similarities in terms of the offensive identity, the game plan, the defensive approach, trusting their bench, deep rotations. Stephen Pearl doing an excellent job in year one.
Overton wide open for that three, and the three ball is the one area where Auburn has really struggled now. 2 of 17.
And Day is a very capable player, but he has not played since the Arkansas game. And just 9 games played on the year, but CF31 can't help bring a spark.
Corner 3 from Pinkins. Pinkins now in double figures. Back to an 8-point game. Overton. Going baseline. And threw it up. Murphy there. But a foul before the Murphy putback.
Which may be the best thing that happened to Ole Miss was the foul. Make them earn it at the stripe because Auburn, rightfully so, attacks the paint and just says, look, if they're going to play small, we're not going to settle from deep. We're going to get inside shots, inside rebounds, and let our bigs go to work.
That foul on Pinkins. That is now his 4th foul. Overton at the line. 83%, career 80% foul shooter, 83 this year. Overton chipped in to this Auburn program after a year at Drake and a year at Texas Tech. A.J. Storr working on Overton. Tough shot high off the window.
And that's what he does. I mean, he makes tough twos, gets to his spot.
Storr leading Ole Miss with 16 points, 5 of 14 from the field.
I'm not sure Ole Miss might not want to start doing a little bit of half-court, three-quarter press because the half-court set is asking a lot from your smaller players. It's just easy money down low right now. So if you're going to be small, I think you got to consider pressing a little bit after a make if you're Ole Miss.
You just got to keep feeding Murphy, I'm thinking. Yep. Long three, another one. Travis Perry with his 5th 3 of the game. I think you better find Travis Perry right now. This is a guy that finished 2nd all-time nationally in three-pointers in a high school career with 712.
Well, Stephen Pearl furious because there are some shooters that the scouting report says you got to make them put it on the deck. You've got a shooter out there, hand up, but that was too late for Perry, and that's the 2nd time that he's been about NBA range where he has seen his defender in those gaps and just says, as soon as I get this ball, if that hand's going to be down, that man's going to be down.
So 4:17 to play in this one. And the 3 ball is keeping Ole Miss in it. The Rebels have hit 10 threes tonight. 5 of those by Perry, which matches a career high. 15 points for the sophomore. Out of Eddyville, Kentucky, of course, spent his freshman year with the Wildcats and really had a tough time of it early and midway through this season to this point, just finding a rhythm. Remember rolling into Oklahoma earlier this year, might have been the SEC opener, and there with Ole Miss, and Chris Beard just talking about we got to get him comfortable, got to get him just to be loose, play more basketball. He was really stressed with some of the shots, but it seems like he has found that whatever it is as a shooter.
Yeah. I mean, the kid's a baller. He's been doing it his whole life. And, yeah, rough slump to start the year, but he has that confidence back. They don't win that game on the road at Georgia without Travis Perry. And quite frankly, I'm not sure they're in this game in single digits without him stepping up and making some threes.
Boy, this Auburn team has had some tough losses along the way, sitting here at 11-7, 2-3 in the league. They've had a brutal schedule. Matter of fact, they played 4 of the top 6 teams in the AP poll this week already. But they've had some heartbreakers along the way. How about January 3rd?
That was one of the most remarkable comebacks. Down 4 late, found a way to tie it, send it to overtime. Usually the team with momentum going into overtime wins. Unable to get that done, and then the buzzer beater that wasn't waved off in a 1/10 of a second. So this Auburn team has been through quite a lot to start conference play, and really they have tried to correct those mistakes, look in the mirror, and again, this is one of the most confident teams in the SEC, the Ole Miss Rebels hitting their stride.
Well, here's what Auburn has coming up, and this is certainly a big one when you think about you got to head down to Florida on
Game at a time. I'm not looking ahead at the schedule. These guys know their itinerary.
Yeah.
They know what's on deck, and this is a massive one for Stephen Pearl and this team to try to close out. But I think Ole Miss, despite their struggles, done a nice job staying in striking distance. There's been a couple times this lead could have gone from 8 to 14, but some big shots by Perry and Storr kept them in it. Now they got to get stops.
Yeah. One thing about this Auburn team is you know that they're going to be able to produce points because they get to the free throw line, despite the fact that they're struggling from behind the arc. They'll find a way to score.
And there's that press we were calling for. If you're going to go small, let's see if we can make the bigs have to handle it. Auburn does a nice job getting to Pettiford's hands early.
Here's Hall. Traveled with it. The turnover will give it back to Ole Miss, down 7. Auburn led by 13 with 6:24 to go in the game. Storr elevates, friendly roll, soft touch. Storr up to 18.
Hey, you talk about tough twos. That's as tough as it gets.
It's a 5-point game. It's a 12-4 Rebel run. They've hit 5 straight from the field. Pettiford trying to find a little bit of room against Day. Loose ball on the deck taken by the Tigers, and a foul against Pettiford. And the Rebels will head down to the free throw line.
Well, here's Zach Day. You talk about waiting for your number to be called and just giving your all. He does a nice job just guarding the ball. I mean, that's a shifty, talented Pettiford. Yeah, he had some gap help, but a nice job by 31 in white of coming in and trying to make an impact in this game. He's a +7 in his 3 minutes. So Ole Miss on a nice little run here.
Redshirt freshman out of Midland, Texas is Zach Day as Pinkins knocks home the free throw. 9 games played for Day, averaging about 6 minutes in those 9 games. Giving them some quality time in a very important game as the Rebels try to stretch their winning streak to 4.
If you're Auburn, you got to take care of the ball. 2 empty possessions in a row on this end. Remember, even if you can't get off a good shot, any shot is a good one considering your offensive rebounding prowess.
Here's some pressure. One possession game. We close in on 3 minutes to play. Here's Hall. Downhill he goes. Pettiford 5 on the shot clock. Throws it up. Got it. And count it. What a shot.
Wow.
You said tough two a moment ago.
Yeah.
That was a tough two.
I mean, Pettiford just stepped back and really just tough luck for Storr, who simply he trips here, and that causes him to get under the feet of Pettiford. Otherwise, yeah, you give up a mid-range two, but Pettiford with nowhere to land gets the and one. We've talked about his ability to shine on the road. He hadn't been explosive, but he's been very solid. 12 points, 3 boards, or excuse me, 3 assists.
The 79% foul shooter converts the three-point play back to 6 now. A.J. Storr gets to the logo. That one's in and out. Pettiford battles for it, comes to Overton. He'll dump it inside to Hall. Cross court. Now it's Williams-Adams. Had it knocked out of there. Perry misfires from 3. That'd have brought the house down.
Boy, and you like the look. I mean, the defender was backpedaling. Hall was a little late getting a hand up. Clean look, just didn't go. They've been doubling the post on Hall.
Hall had good position. Lost it. Oh, he had it and lost it.
And just uncharacteristic of how the game has gone for Auburn, who has taken care of the ball pretty well. But that's 3 turnovers in the last 5 possessions or so.
Storr with a team-high 18. Comardine, no good, and Freeman and Zach Day get tangled up. That's going to be a foul on Freeman as they both hit the deck. So Zach Day will head to the free throw line. Day, his first free throw attempts of the season.
And so once the offensive player jumps in the air, you can't continue rooting him out. So even though Freeman had inside position, once the player behind you jumps in the air, you can't continue that. A little bit more of an undercut anyway as Freeman fought for positioning.
So Zach Day's first collegiate free throw. Clanks off the back of the rim. Converts that one. Zach Day has now scored 10 points on the season, his first tonight. Makes it a 5-point game. Pettiford all the way to the rim! Oh my goodness! Look out below! Oh! Storr answers back with a 3, that kicks out. Pinkins follows. Timeout, Ole Miss. What in the world just happened with Tahad Pettiford?
I mean, my goodness. Tahad Pettiford might be suspended next game because we've got video evidence of assault on another man here in Auburn, Mississippi. Oh my gosh. Like he's at a jump park. Tahad Pettiford with his right, where most coaches are saying, hey, pull it out, let's run some clock. He's like, no, I see an open lane. I'm about to go catch me a body.
That's 6-1, by the way. That's 6-1.
Now,
looking down.
Whew. Now the trade-off there is you make the big play, and then you give up the offensive board on the other end, and that's what Stephen Pearl is telling his team right now. Like, hey, guys, we are a couple stops away from a massive road win.
You could almost just see that coming from midcourt, that he was just going to take it, you know, and you're just waiting. It's like going to be, like, it could have been a train wreck down there.
Yeah, and this is so important for Ole Miss, too, Dave, because the last 3 games, that win streak they've been on, the incredible dramatic finishes on the road, so many things were coming together. They have retreated in this game in terms of the lineups they've been accustomed to relying on, the rebounding that's gotten them there. And right now, this looks a little bit more like when they were searching for their identity prior to the win streak. So can you pull out another close win if you're Ole Miss on your home floor so you can keep that huge momentum you had coming into this game? And then we've seen Auburn's upcoming schedule. This is one you feel like gotta win.
A.J. Storr has 18, Perry with 15, Pinkins with 15. Well, the average margin in the last 3 games for Ole Miss, just a tick over 3 points per game. Looks like we're heading in that same territory here. Foul on the perimeter. Comedy. Both teams in the double bonus. Auburn with 1 timeout left. Ole Miss 0 timeouts. Possession arrow favors Auburn.
Well, several factors in this game, but certainly one has been the free throw battle. Auburn now going for their 32nd and 33rd attempt, where about a third of their points will have come from the free throw line.
I mean, Ole Miss is shooting it well from the line. They're 12 of 15. The problem is they've only been there 15 times.
Well, and I think part of that is because they're so mid-range heavy, they don't get to the rack quite as much and don't have that post-up threat. Like, that's a fadeaway, too. You're not getting to the free throw line with those types of shots. And with Dia and Biggs on the bench, you're not getting the contact at the rim.
Malik Dia has just not been a factor tonight. Just 2 points. Nice pass and a push. Freeman hits the deck, and he'll go to the free throw line. And the crowd's starting to head for the exits with 47 seconds left in a 7-point game.
Well, Auburn now with a chance to win their 2nd game in a row, shooting horrifically from 3. 2 of 17 in this one. What was the last one? 2 of 20?
2 of 19.
2 of 19 in South Carolina. That says a lot about your defense and your ability to not let your offense dictate your defensive intensity. And I think this is one of those game plans they've really executed to perfection for the most part on the other end of the court.
In and out, and it'll stay with Auburn. By the way, the 28 free throws made is 1 off their season high. It's just, I mean, it's almost impossible to keep the Tigers off the free throw line.
Yeah,
the way they play.
And I think it's become tougher too when right now Ole Miss being so much smaller. You're fighting, you're battling, but Scott, Dia, Casilla, I mean, you name it. The bigs for Ole Miss just have not provided the impact and the rebounding that Chris Beard demands from his team. And there's non-negotiables for Chris Beard. That's what allowed them to turn it around on that 3-game win streak. And right now, he's had to go back to those lineups that you really don't plan for.
So they have now tied their season high for 3 free throw makes. This will be number 37 at the line attempts. Their season high attempts is 38. And Keyshawn Hall gets that one to slip through the cylinder. He's up to 17 points and 9 of 10 at the line. Storr fires in and out, and Hall with a rebound. Keyshawn Hall with 5 rebounds and a quick foul. You could just about put this one in the books now with 29.9 seconds to play.
And what a feel-good win for Auburn. Their first true road victory of the season. And to do it against an Ole Miss team that was playing with a ton of confidence. And this trip home for Auburn Again, we started the broadcast with this. I can't explain enough how much a road win can do for your team's culture and chemistry. Stephen Pearl and Chris Beard talking to each other a little bit in half court.
No good. Keyshawn Hall with that rebound, and Ole Miss will just back it off, and that'll do it. (78-66) will be the final. Auburn will go to 12-7, 3-3 in the league. Ole Miss goes to 11-8, and their three-game conference streak comes to a close. 3-3 overall now, and Auburn has now won 10 straight over the Rebels.
And Auburn threw the first punch. They imposed their will early with their rebounding, their bigs, and then as Ole Miss made a few shots, the crowd got into it. Auburn handled adversity extremely well to pick up a very important road win in the SEC.
Good night for Auburn, despite the fact that they finished 2 of 17. They're 4 of 36 in their last two games from behind the arc. But when you make 32 of 39 at the line and you out-rebound your opponent by 17, that'll pretty much get you a victory, and that's what happened here. 78-66 is our final score. Coming up next, College Football Live. So for Dane Bradshaw, the rest of our exceptional ESPN crew, I'm Dave Neal saying so long from Oxford. Have a great night. And be careful out there.